TomoNews presents What the Duck?
Cop stops traffic to let ducks cross the road.
Driver stopped for ducks, now faces life in prison. 25-year-old Emma Sornabaj is facing some serious charges as a result of her compassion towards animals. While driving down Highway 30 in Candiac, Quebec back in 2010, she spotted a group of ducklings crossing the road. The animal lover said in court that she planned to capture the orphaned animals and take them home. Pauline and Andre Roy Volokakis were enjoying a cruise on their Harleys that day. Their daughter Jessie was riding with her father when Pauline Volokakis witnessed the horror unfold in front of her. "I saw a body go over the car and it looked like a rag doll," a witness, Martine Tessier, testified in court. The 16-year-old girl was trapped under the Honda Civic and later died in hospital. Volokakis embraced her husband, who then died in her arms. Sornabaj was found guilty on 4 charges. 2 counts of criminal negligence causing death and 2 counts of dangerous driving causing death. The former charge carries a maximum life sentence. Future and present drivers should know that we don't stop on highways, said the widowed Volokakis, who hopes the publicity of the case will encourage drivers to be more careful. Sornabaj was released until her pre-sentence hearing scheduled for August 8th.
Photo of woman's emotional support duck goes viral online. Bet you never thought a duck could fly this high. On October 16th, a man flying from Milwaukee to Asheville, North Carolina, happened to notice a peculiar-looking passenger waddling onto the plane and tweeted out a picture that's thrown the internet into a frenzy. Affectionately named Daniel Turducken Stinkerbutt by his owner, the duck gets to go pretty much anywhere she goes, as he's legally certified as an emotional support animal. Daniel's owner, Carla Fitzgerald, used to drive a horse-drawn carriage when a car slammed into her from behind and sent her flying. 4 years later, she still suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder. The duck supposedly senses when she's stressed and nuzzles her to reduce her anxiety. Daniel not only flies with Fitzgerald, he also goes to movies and church, always on a leash and wearing a diaper. The only requirements to have a pet certified as an emotional support animal are that the owner is considered emotionally disabled by a licensed mental health professional, and that the animal is manageable in public. In the United States, animals are allowed to accompany their owners in the airplane cabin at no extra cost, as long as they are needed for support reasons. Typical domestic animals like cats, dogs, mice, rabbits, birds, rats, small pigs, and ferrets can be certified to fly. But cases of more unusual creatures have also been reported as emotional support animals, such as turkeys, turtles, snakes, llamas, and hedgehogs. Animals of the world, rejoice! As long as there are humans in need of emotional therapy, the skies are your oyster.
Woman files $275,000 lawsuit after being attacked by a neighbor's pet duck. Attacks by animals can be a harrowing experience, which is why if you're an owner of a pet with a short temper, better keep an eye on it, even if it's a duck. 62-year-old Cynthia Ruddell says she was on her mother's property in Estacada, Oregon, when out of nowhere she was attacked by a neighbor's duck. According to Ruddell, in her panic to get away, she fell, breaking her wrist and spraining her elbow and shoulder. Now, Ruddell is suing for $275,000 in damages, including about $25,000 for medical expenses. According to Ruddell's attorney, it was his understanding that Lolita Rose, the owner of the duck, had it killed after the incident. Okay, reports don't specify how the duck was killed, but we imagine if it were done in the traditional way, at least someone may have gotten a nice meal out of it.
A Portland, Oregon police officer put a chase on hold in order to aid a group of ducks in danger of being run over. Officer Mark James no doubt expected a run-of-the-mill traffic stop when he caught sight of a traffic violator doing 52 in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. Just as the chase began to escalate and looked like it could become fodder for Fox's recently cancelled reality show Cops, the traffic officer caught sight of a mother duck and her two ducklings making their way across the busy highway. Officer James abandoned the hot pursuit to help escort the fluffy creatures across the road. Even though the officer resumed the chase soon after, the suspect managed to get away. While the bulk of the video's YouTube comments commend the officer for helping the winged family, there's a fair share of commenters suggesting that deploying adorable ducklings would serve as a wise police distraction for future speeders.
Duck ramps installed in D.C. Some good news out of Washington for once. Duck ramps have been installed at the Capitol Reflecting Pool, located on the east side of the National Mall. The move was implemented on May 15th by Capitol officials in charge of preserving the historic grounds, in an effort to lend a hand to the resident flock of ducks who return to the area every spring. The pool's an awesome tub for the mallards, but the limestone curbs make it difficult for baby ducklings to get in and out of the water. With a little practice, they'll be running up those ramps in no time. What a nice thing to do for our feathered friends, right? Well, actually, some don't agree, namely Republican Congressman Mark Walker, who ruffled the feathers of the internet by tweeting out, "If it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it must be government waste." Jeez, talk about a Debbie Downer. Walker's comments were quick to set off a mudslide of mocking tweets by users as their way of politely flipping him the bird, so to speak. User Eric Fernandez struck back with, "Donald Trump has made 21 trips to the golf course in 16 weeks, and this dumbass is talking about government wasting? Nice one, Eric." User Infinite Just Liker heckled, "Imagine going from being an obscure congressional nobody to that who hates ducklings." Haha. And user Noel chimed in, "Next up, puppies, rainbows, and mini muffins. Man, if they even think about trying to take our mini muffins away, that's when things will really get ugly." But it's nice to know one silly goose in Congress can't spoil all the fun. Now that the ramps are in place, no longer will we see any innocent little ducklings drowning from exhaustion or dying from starvation because they can't get out of the water. Just more of this.
Lost. One 54-foot-tall giant rubber ducky gone with the wind in China. Aw, isn't that a cute rubber ducky? Dutch artist Florentine Hoffman's signature art display has warmed the hearts of many around the world, from Sydney to Hong Kong to Osaka. But Ducky's tour around the world isn't without mishaps. In Taiwan, it got dirty, got deflated, and even bursted. Now in China, the 54-foot-tall yellow bird flat out disappeared. That's right, it's gone. According to reports, the artwork has been on display in Nanming River, Guizhou City in southern China since July 4th. Last Tuesday, the city was struck by a heavy storm. Powerful currents dislodged the 10-ton metal platform beneath the duck the next day. The giant rubber fowl flipped over and was quickly flushed away at around 7 p.m. Duck, no duck. Duck, no duck. Duck, no duck. Yup. Netizens have expressed their solemn concerns for the duck's well-being, as, after all, Chinese people are known to eat everything. Authorities ask anyone who sees the giant thing along the river to please contact them. But don't worry, if the ducky can't be found, the exhibit organizers will just order a backup from an authorized Taiwanese manufacturer. No sweat.
The famous rubber duck in Taoyuan becomes the first ever to swim on land. Where is this famous yellow duck? Has it floated off for calmer waters? No. The giant bathtub toy was reduced to egg yolk after an unfortunate accident. The poor creature has been through some difficult times since its arrival in Taoyuan. The duck collapsed after last week's earthquake caused a power outage that zapped the pumps that kept it inflated. An attempt to blow the bird back up proved overzealous after a worker pumped in too much air and popped in strong winds. The duck was pronounced dead on puncture and cannot be repaired in time for the exhibition. To satisfy the public, Taoyuan County has borrowed another already retired rubber duck from Kaohsiung.
从哪边来的？从新竹来的。哦，现 现在知道就有点失望，是不是？
对，刚才朋友刚刚打手机跟我讲，说爆掉你要来看。
A victim of the quake, the lovable ducky is now with God.
还是要对来看小鸭的人，已经在这边等要看的人，以及今天本来安排要来看的人，造成很不方便，我们在此先致歉。
To pay due respect, a funeral hall for the ducky has been created by netizens. Taoyuan County Commissioner Wu Zhiyang said that permission for the backup was issued by Kaohsiung Mayor Chen Ju. The understudy will be out at the square and becomes the first duck displayed on land after inflation.
The rubber duck explodes in Taiwan. Again. A second giant rubber duck met a violent end in Taiwanese waters after the head of the one docked in Geelong Harbor exploded on the last day of 2013. Fans of the enormous yellow bath toy were saddened not to have been able to ring in the new year with their ducky friend. Some people took the untimely popping to be a bad sign for the coming year, while others, including members of the international media, just found it funny. The Huffington Post titled a piece about the pop, "Quack Quack Boom." CNN got punny with "Murder Most Foul? Giant Rubber Duck Bursts in Taiwan." The Telegraph kept it short and simple with "Giant Yellow Duck Explodes in Taiwan Again." The Metro made fun of the accident with "2013 goes out with a bang as giant rubber duck suddenly bursts." Is the giant duck dead forever? Worry not, dear viewers. The flesh wound was mended by able-bodied exhibition workers. And after being reinflated, the rubber duck will float yet again at the beginning of the month.